Today I'm going to try to draw this small patch of flowers, which are apparently anemones in Tbilisi, Georgia. And I think I said this yesterday, or I said something about this yesterday or the day before, but a pencil would have been just killer today. That would have helped a lot, and you'll see why soon enough. But first, subscribe. Just go ahead and do it. That's all I'll say about that. So, flowers. My history with drawing flowers on this channel has been a mixed bag. I've made a good one or two, and I've made not so good ones. The rest were not good. So today, I guess I'm trying to shift the average a little bit, just nudge it in a more positive direction. And I don't remember if I succeed at that or not because I'm recording this a few days after doing this drawing. So I guess we'll just find out together. My feelings at the time, in the moment, really don't matter at all because I'm almost never in the right headspace to accurately judge. I'm still so locked into the process that I can't be objective. So, the negative feelings that I know I had upon completing this aren't important. And we can set those aside for now. By the end, we'll see if I was right to hate this or not. So starting off, I had to draw the stamens. I'm sure you could guess why, but that would be boring because no one can hear you but yourself. So I'll just tell you, they are in the front. They're on top of everything else. So they come first. Maybe I could have drawn the silhouettes of the petals. Sure, good idea, possibly. I don't know. But I didn't want to do that because I didn't think of that. And now that I think about it, maybe that's not such a bad idea because then whatever broader shape I ended up with, I could go ahead and toss in the stamen directly in the middle. But that's neither here nor there because that's not what I do here and you weren't there to tell me to do it your way, okay? So I start with the stamens and that's fine. And I think they actually look pretty good. Dare I say, they're the best part of the drawing. I used these little dots to make them. I know there's a word for that technique, but I can't recall it. And I did that because if you look closely, that's all these really are. They're just a clump of just so many little dots. And I wanted that to translate on the paper, so that's what I did. I also, strangely, opted to shade these at the start. I hate shading, and that will definitely not be the last you'll hear about it in this video. But actually, these weren't an issue in that respect. As for the petals, I think they also worked out. And maybe that's because I'm good at drawing them. Or, more likely, petals are pretty hard to mess up, at least the silhouettes. Nothing about them is exact here. So just getting the sort of bare minimum shape or symbol, if you will, of a flower petal works pretty well. I did pay attention to each petal, at the very least, to guide me along the way, so the resemblance is there, fortunately. However, the shading takes that and smears it with mud, or at least that's what it looks like. So yeah, the shading. I took this in a direction, the only direction I knew of. You can see in the reference that these flowers are not black, and yet that's what I'm doing to them. My thought process at the time was stuck on the subtle contrast of the petals. There's shadow on the underlying petals, cast down from the top layer, but there's also some gradation in like the curves of the petals on top as they look toward or face away from the sun. Again, it's extremely subtle. I was aware of that, but with pen, there's only so much I can do to hold on to that like soft brightness while also implying light contrast. The ink is black, not slightly off-white. So inevitably, parts of this would go dark. I knew that. What I didn't expect was just how quickly this would go from stark white, paper white, to this. So like I said at the top, a pencil would have been a gift from the gods today because I feel like I would have had a much better chance of including these light shadows while maintaining the softness of the petals. Didn't have one, didn't happen. Oh well, nothing I can do about it now. This was clearly the weak link in today's chain, and I'll just have to accept it and learn from my mistakes. Does that mean start using a pencil? Almost certainly not. Probably not. No. Instead, maybe next time I'll just use a few precise lines to, again, imply the shadow rather than try to no avail to replicate exactly what I see. Lastly, because I started with stamens, I became a little ignorant of my composition, which pushed everything off to the left more than I wanted. Definitely not a big deal, but maybe that's another point for starting with the petals, or at least the silhouettes of the petals. We'll see what I do with it next time. Okay, that's enough of that. At the end of the day, I had a lot of fun with this, kind of for the same reason as the scooter. I got pretty lost in the sauce, which could be good or bad, depends on how you look at it. But the process itself was a pleasure. While shading is absolutely, unequivocally my biggest shortcoming at the moment, I have a feeling it will become my favorite part of drawing in the future. I might not be any good at it, but I enjoy it nonetheless. So what do you think of this one? Let me know. Personally, I think while it's not what I wanted or expected, it'll be a page in the sketchbook that I will enjoy seeing upon flipping through in the future. They're kind of weird, almost creepy, but I think I'll be able to intuit that they're flowers, I hope. Anyway, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.